It's PGA Week, PGA Championship, one of the 4 majors, and what a program we have for you. What an episode. We're going to give you the greatest lesson you have ever learned from the PGA Championship. It's a lesson that helps the average golfer, the high handicapper, and even, yes, guys on the PGA Tour. We're going to have that lesson. We're going to pick you winners for the PGA Championships. Now, usually the PGA is like Ringo Starr of the Beatles, you know, the least regarded of the 4. Everybody loves the Masters, the US Open, the British Open, and the PGA. But this time, the PGA is so exciting. Rory McIlroy going for the second leg of his Grand Slam. Jordan Spieth could complete his own Grand Slam. A lot going on. Plus, we remember one of the most exciting PGAs ever when Phil Mickelson in 2021 became the oldest winner of a major championship. He was almost 51 when he won at Kiawah Island. What a great victory that was. Let's honor Phil Mickelson, the oldest winner of the PGA Championship, the oldest winner of a major, by hitting the first shot of this episode left-handed. My goodness, my goodness. I may play left-handed all the time. Actually, I do play left-handed and right-handed a good deal of the time. I'm supposedly the only person who's ever shot their age left-handed and right-handed in the same day, same tees. But that's not what you're interested in. So let's get right to it about the PGA Championship. But before we get to the picks and before we get to the greatest lesson you will ever learn, and from a PGA Championship, I have time for fun. Fun time for you. It's a quiz. We mentioned that Phil Mickelson is the oldest winner of a major championship, and he's left-handed. So here's the quiz. And you can comment right below. Don't fast forward to the end and get the answer. There have been five left-handed winners of major championships. Can you name the 5? Are you that smart? I'll bet you can name 3 of the remaining 4, but the 5th one just might escape you. But let's see just how smart you are before we reveal at the end of the the episode. Well, as you can see, we have moved. We've gone to the chipping and putting green at beautiful Ancala Country Club here in Scottsdale. You know it's Scottsdale because you can see Camelback Mountain right there behind me. Let's talk again about who the favorites are, who we pick for this PGA Championship. A lot of people like Scotty Scheffler, Brooks Koepka, Colin Morikawa. All 3 of those, I say, forget about them. Just forget about them. They're not going to win. Scotty is just simply not playing his very, very best. He's a great player, and he's got a chance, of course, but I wouldn't bet on him to win. Same thing with Brooks Koepka. Brooks Koepka has won 3 of the last 7 PGA Championships. You think that Koepka has to be the favorite? Nope. Let's forget about him. Colin Morikawa, great player. You know how many players there are in the PGA Championship? 156. Do you know where Colin Morikawa is in driving distance on the PGA Tour? 157th. There are 156 guys who drive the ball further than he does, and Quail Hollow is longest. So those 3 we're going to dismiss, and we're going to get to our top 4 in just a moment. But first, let's talk about what we promised. The greatest lesson ever learned from a PGA Championship. Important question. Do you want to look good, look pretty playing golf, or do you want to win? My dad is a great player, played number 1 on the college golf team. I played number 4. We played together, incidentally. I'll tell you about that future episode. He putted, get this, like this. He let his elbows point right at the target, like I'm going right at you. Horrible look. He was the best putter I ever saw. Stand over the ball, his elbows out like this, and just stroke the ball so beautifully. Where in the world did Dad get such a horrible position at address for putting? He also used it for chipping, and he was a great chipper. He learned it from the all-time great. His name, Little Poison, Paul Runyan. I knew Paul Runyan. I called him Mr. Runyan. I knew him very, 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 very well. He was the head pro at Green Gables Golf Club in Denver, Colorado when I was a sportscaster there at Channel 9 in Denver years and years and years ago. We played golf together the first time. I'll always remember it. Now, Paul Runyan was 5'4", 5'5", weighed 125 pounds at the most. He broke his left arm like that when he swung. He shifted way over here and went. It was ugly. And so was his chipping and his putting. It was ugly. First time we played, I was playing very, very well at that time. I'd finished in the top 5 at the Colorado Open playing against Dave Hale, Hale Irwin and them. So I played with Mr. Runyan, and I'm out hitting him great distance. I'm almost feeling sorry for him, and he was almost 70 years old. We finished the round. Get this, we finished the round. And I said, wonderful, an honor playing with you, Mr. Runyan. What'd you shoot? Now, I'd shot about a 73, 74, feeling pretty good. And he said, 69. I'm thinking, here's a Golf Hall of Famer, PGA champion multiple times. He's lying to me. I went over that round over and over and over and over in my mind. He shot a 69. Did not make a bogey, made 3 birdies. It's an easy way to tell that that's a 69. One birdie was a chip in. Another birdie made a long putt. Another birdie hit a great shot close. Otherwise, he was just getting up and down all day long. A 69, and he didn't hit the ball, didn't hit one golf shot that impressed me. I remember the time we played, I was on the, I think it was the 14th hole, and it was a blind shot, and I couldn't remember it, and I go, Mr. Runyon, where should I play my next shot? And he goes, see the 3rd window on the clubhouse? And I go, yes. He says, hit it right at the 3rd window. The window looked about like my little finger. And I go, Mr. Runyon, I was kind of asking north by northwest. Not that specific. He says, you got to be specific. You got to go from point to point to point to understand how to play golf. And he taught me something else. Listen to this. It's not that important to hit greens. You can hit a green and be in bad position. If the pin's up front and there's a big drop off, a big swale, and you're up here, you're probably going to 3-putt. If you hit your next shot to the right and just short and you're chipping, it's an easy chip, you might chip it in. You don't have to hit the greens, you just have to position your golf ball. Did that work for Mr. Runyon? How well did that work? I'll tell you. Paul Runyan had already won a PGA championship, and in 1938 he's playing in the finals against Sam Snead. What a mismatch. Sam Snead, the longest hitter on tour, against Paul Runyan, the shortest hitter on tour. What happened? Sam Snead said he doesn't play golf, he just plays miraculous golf. In those days, it was match play. In other words, there are 3 kinds of ways to play golf. One is medal play, which you count your total strokes, and at the end of 72 holes, 4 rounds, you may shoot 280 and win. In match play, you play someone in your bracket, you win, you advance. You keep advancing till you're in the finals, and then you play hole by hole. You win the hole, you're 1 up. You lose the hole, you're 1 down. 3 and 2 is probably a pretty impressive win. In other words, it'd be 3 holes up with 2 holes left to go. Paul Runyan beat Sam Snead, the worst drubbing Sam Snead ever had. And Snead, they say, was out driving him 75 to 100 yards. He beat Sam Snead, get this, 8 and 7. 8 and 7. In other words, he was 8 holes ahead with only 7 holes to go. They were playing 36 holes in those days. Sam Snead always said that Paul Runyan was the greatest short game guru, golfer, player of all time. So,
hi, I'm Sam Snead. In regards to Paul Runyan, he was known as Little Poison. Paul wasn't a big guy by any means. He didn't hit the ball very far, but oh, what a short game he had, second to none. I had the pleasure of playing Paul in the PGA Championship, and I'd outdrive him some holes almost 100 yards. But you know, the old saying is, you drive for show and putt for dough. So that's what happened. He killed me on the green. I never saw a man had the touch or any better touch than Paul Runyan.
So let's learn from Paul Runyan and see how important chipping and putting really, really is. Most golfers are just too wristy with their putting. I am. I forward press and then I'm wristy. And when I'm hot, I'm hot. And as Jerry Reed said, when I'm not, I'm not. Some, like Ben Crenshaw, just putted and rocked his shoulders, kept everything still. Runyon putted with his elbows. His elbows pointed at the target. Watch, this is strange, but it really, really works. So your elbows, both of them, this looks ugly, doesn't it? But man, it's like rocking a baby in a cradle, but it works. It works, doesn't it? And this was one take, and I did both those because, by golly, if it wasn't so ugly, I think I'd do it. What about chipping? Surely you're not going to do this. Chipping? Yes, you are. The most important lesson you have to learn in chipping is what club to use. Everybody likes to use a wedge, a sand wedge, a 60, a 50, 54, whatever, because that makes the ball go up and then it checks a little bit. It looks super cool, but you chunk it, you blade it, you're not very consistent with it. So with your wedge, toss it. Now I've got two other clubs here. You won't believe this. This is a 6-iron. This is a 3-iron. For long, long chips, use a 3-iron. Here's the 6-iron for shorter chips. In other words, Runyon's philosophy was simple. If you're a good putter like this, you'll be a good chipper like this, and actually chipping is putting. All you want to do is get the ball onto the green as quick as possible and have it roll like a putt, overspin, and just find the hole. So in other words, with this 6-iron for 25 feet, that's the chip. Nothing great about it, but it's a kick-in. You won't believe this shot. A 3-iron. You said 3-iron? I don't even hit a 3-iron on the course. Why would I use it for chipping? Because this is a long, long, long chip, over 60 feet, and it goes up a ridge. So we want to get it on the green and rolling, and it'll have overspin, and it'll just keep going. So here we go. Oh my gosh! Oh my God. Well, this really works, does it? Hey, you want to see that again? Let's see it in slow motion. What do you think? Is that lesson from Paul Runyan about chipping and putting being more important than driving? That's something to consider when we're picking who the winner will be in this PGA Championship at Quail Hollow. Incidentally, Quail Hollow, it's not just a random golf course that they sometimes pick, like Oakmont, or one like Southern Hills, that they only play a major there every 10 or 12 years. They play every year at Quail Hollow. It used to be the Kemper Open there, regular tour event, Wachovia. They played the World Series of Golf, the Wells Fargo. All these tournaments played on the same venue. So the players are very, very, very accustomed to playing Quail Hollow. So let's start with our picks. First off, I'd like to pick two dark horses. Number one, you probably think of this, Keegan Bradley. Yep, he's won a PGA. He's playing really well. He wants to play well. He's motivated and he hits it long. Second one was always right there in, but he is maybe the most overlooked golfer, Wyndham Clark. These are my two dark horses. Now remember, if you bet on Scotty Scheffler or Rory McIlroy in one of the five, it's called the five, they're 500. They're plus 500. What does plus 500 mean? Well, that means if you bet $100 on Scotty Scheffler and he wins, you would win $500. That's all that it means. You can make a lot of money if you bet $100 on Keegan Bradley or Wyndham Clark, or way down the list, get $2,000, $3,000, or $4,000, but mostly if you bet $100 on one of the lower guys, it's just bye-bye to that $100. But now, let's move ahead, ba-bum, drum roll, to who we think will win this PGA Championship and who we think is a great betting favorite. Remember, in the Masters, if you subscribed and if you watched in my picks for the Masters, you will remember that I picked the top two going in the final day, Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau. Bang! Right on the money. Top two, Xander Schauffele. He's just a great player. He can do it all. He's had a great record at Quail Hollow. We mentioned that it's not like you show up at one of these majors that they only play the Open Championship in Britain. That rotation goes from Royal, Lytham, St. Anne's to St. Andrews to various Carnoustie and all those courses. But Quail Hollow, the pros play every week. Every year, just like they do at Augusta. So the familiarity with the course is great. Guess who finished second in the Wells Fargo at Quail Hollow the last 2 years? Xander Schauffele. He's got a great record there, and he's due to win. Xander Schauffele, one of my top two picks. And then, of course, Rory McIlroy. Sentimental favorite, exciting favorite, going to begin his second career Grand Slam, and maybe to do a Grand Slam all four majors in 1 year. It's very, very possible. I pick Rory because he's number one on the PGA Tour in driving, number one on strokes gained tee to green, and get this, you don't know this. Rory McIlroy is in the top 10 in putting. That's right, of the entire PGA Tour, he's in the top 10 putting. You didn't know that, did you? Rory McIlroy, he drives it great, better than anybody maybe ever has. And this is a long, long, long course. And if he's putting great, and if he has, the pressure's off, isn't it? The pressure is off Rory McIlroy for this PGA Championship. So let's pick this Northern Irishman, this lovable guy who's had a ton of weight lifted off his shoulders, finally, to begin a quest for a second Grand Slam. Friends, that concludes our episode on the PGA Championship. So meanwhile, about the 5 guys that won. I'm just playing with you, just messing with you. I'm going to give you those names just in case you didn't fast forward here to the end. The 5 that have won a major championship. Phil Mickelson, of course, who's won 6 major championships. Bubba Watson, who's won 2 majors. Bob Charles, the first left-hander when he won at Royal Lytham and St. Anne's, when he won the British Open. Mike Weir. And of course, the last one, which you may or may not have gotten, Brian Harman, just a couple of years back. Brian Harman won the Open Championship. So that concludes our PGA Championship program, and let's conclude with a tribute to all these fine hitting lefties. And for all the rest of you, you right-handed golfers and you left-handed golfers, may your golf, your life, everything for you be absolutely amazing. Thank you for watching.